Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how you can download multiple stock tickers into Excel using Power Query and pull them from Yahoo Finance. In a previous video I showed you how to do that for one stock ticker, but this time I'm going to show you how you can do that for multiple and continue to add to that list. So I'm going to switch over to Yahoo Finance here and just select some of the top trending tickers, go under historical data, and then click on this download button, which will give me all this data here. This is going to download Netflix. I'm going to go over to another ticker, do the same thing, wait for that download button to appear, click it again, Roku again, historical data, and download. So I've put all these files into a folder designated for stocks. So the idea being that I can add to this over time and my Power Query will automatically update with any new tickers that I add to this folder. So I'm going to switch over to Power Query and go under Data, Get Data, From File, and select From Folder. And I'm going to navigate to this folder that I have. Now it looks empty, but that's fine because I'm only selecting the folder. I'm not selecting individual files. So the files aren't going to show up. So I'm going to select Open. And now these are the files that are within that folder. I'm going to select the option to combine and transform data. The idea being that Power Query is going to combine these files, but also allow me to make any transformations to them. So it's going to ask for a sample file. By default selecting the first file, but I can specify any one of these. And the best way to think of this about this is sort of like a template. It's going to use whatever file you select here and repeat any sort of transformations on other files as well. So this format looks fine to me, and I'm going to hit OK. The one thing you want to keep in mind is if you're doing this for a lot of files, whether it's tickers or anything else, the key is making sure that the files are consistent. If you've got one file that's different from another file, then the transformations may not work. And the reason being is, Excel is going to repeat these same steps, anything that it does to it. In this case, all it did was really just promote the headers. So not a whole lot of transformation being done, but if there's a lot of steps that you want to do to make adjustments to the file, then bear in mind it's going to use the sample file here as a template and apply those changes to your other files as well. So this is the combined file with those steps. So you'll notice I've got a source name here that shows the different file names, the tickers followed by .csv. And I don't really need that, but what I am going to do is use that to pull the ticker from there. I don't necessarily need the .csv. So what I'm going to do is select this and go to transform and extract the text before the delimiter. And in this case, the delimiter is just going to be the period. There's not going to be a stock ticker with a period in it. So I'm going to select that. And just like that, I've parsed out the .csv portion. And so I can just rename this to ticker. And just like that, I've got the stock ticker and I've got all the data that I downloaded. And so now everything is nice and clean. And I can go back to home and click close and load. And so now it's going to populate this data into Excel. As you can see now, I've got all the historical data. So if I want to flip between stocks, I can easily do that. Now, the one really cool thing about this is I can add tickers to this list. Even though I've only downloaded the 3 right now, let's say at a future date I want to replace these files. Let's say I want to do this on a monthly basis, download the latest stock prices for these tickers. I can do that. What I can also do is download additional tickers and continue adding to the list as long as the files are in the same format. And in the case of the Yahoo Finance, we know they're going to be. So what I'm going to do is go back into Yahoo Finance, select a few more tickers here, go to historical data, Again, go back to the download and select these additional ones. Do another download. And now, after moving these files into that stock folder again, you can see I've added those into here. And now what I can do here is go to the data option and click refresh all. And this is going to update my queries. And now you'll notice that if I go to filter this, now I've got those new tickers automatically loaded in here through Power Query. So as you can see, it's one of the cool things about using the folder import option into Power Query is it's automatically going to scan for new files within that folder. So if I were to go to edit my query and look at those steps, you can see that it's starting with the source. And if I do a refresh for the preview, now it's picking up those extra files. And it's following the same sort of steps that it did before. The transformation, it's using a sample file and automatically expanding that list. And so it's picking up these new tickers. It's not picking up all of them, but it's in the preview anyways, but it is picking up these new tickers. And so now when I close and load or just do a refresh onto here, it's going to update with the latest tickers. So the really cool thing is, you can go back, pick another stock, let's say Tesla, repeat this same process over again, do a download, and then after loading into my stocks folder, doing the refresh all, and boom, there it is. So just like that. So there's a couple of ways you may want to use this. And one would be, if you want to keep on adding to your list of tickers, that's one option. Another could be, if you want to update the latest stock prices, because these obviously are not going to automatically update. These are downloads. So whatever files you've got in that folder is what it's going to pull from. So maybe a month from now, you're going to want to update the latest prices. So you'll want to do another download, and what you can do is just save over these files. If I've got the IBM CSV file, I can just save over it with the exact same name, and it's going to just basically refresh this data. So I can delete it or just save over it. Either way, it's going to just pull whatever's in that folder. So that's the really cool thing about using this. It can basically just be automatically updating your Power Query. All you need to do is just dump those files into that specific folder, and automatically it will refresh the data for you. So that's how you can pull multiple tickers into Excel using Power Query.